Hi, my name is Abby Maria.
Hi, my name is Saul.
Wendell Holland.
Brandon Donlin. Shaheen, not Shaheen.
Hey everybody, this is Mike Gabler, the Alligabler, coming to you live on Survivor Squared.
Survivor Squared.
Survivor Squared.
Survivor Squared.
Survivor Squared.
Survivor Squared.
Oh, it's a sad day. But here we are previewing the finale of Survivor Season 50. And don't worry, the energy is coming. We're going to ramp it up. We're going to break down all the ramifications of what just happened on our television screens, who could actually win out of this final five, where they could possibly land in the hierarchy, the historical rankings of Season 50 and Survivor in general. So many ways this could go. But this most recent episode, we had to say goodbye to two fan favorites, one of which we were rooting for so hard on this show, and it is likely the last time we ever see Cirie Fields play Survivor. Bailey, I'm handing the floor to you.
Why? It's just cruel to hand the floor to me when I'm in a state like this. I don't even have words. I cried. I mean, the way I will start it is I have grown to love Rick Devens so much through this season. I have grown to have such an appreciation for that man. And honestly, Cirie Fields, like, I want to get a tattoo of her face on my back. Like, I love her. And as objective as I can be, I will say they made the right decision this week. They sent home the two biggest threats. And they did the right thing, even though I'm furious about it.
We've been covering it on this channel, on these podcasts. I ask you almost every week who has the best case to win this thing, and we say it every time we go through the question. Every time I try to say, well, actually, Aubrey's doing this or Jonathan's doing this, I preface it by saying, other than Cirie, let's talk about this other person's game. Because Cirie's clearly been running this whole entire season. And then you always, consistently, Bailey, have brought up that Rick Devens' resume so far has been one that could be very deserving of a winner. And we heard that during the episode. I believe it was Aubry in a confessional started talking about resumes and how Rick Devens, no, Cirie says it. Cirie says she would vote for Rick Devens. I could make a case for Rick Devens to win. So you're absolutely right. They took out the two biggest threats heading into this finale, and it happens very similarly to a season that I remember very, very recently, and actually had three members of that season on this season 50 in David vs. Goliath. As you get to the end game of David vs. Goliath, they purposefully start attacking these challengers at the throne. They take out the biggest threats, and you end up with a final three of not the most, some underwhelming games, per se, at the end of David vs. Goliath. Is that what we're heading to in season 50? I don't know, because we're going to try and make a case as we head into the finale later in this episode for every one of these players to win it. We're going to be the debate analysts here. We're going to be the people you hire to bring in to help you buff up your game. We're going to make the debate case for every single player remaining on how they would win. But the two biggest threats, as you said, Bales, Devens and Cirie, are gone. Let's say goodbye to Devens first. It was an emotional exit for him, a very easy exit for the rest of the players. They ganged up on him. They wanted him out of there. But he's talking about the stars going off into the heavens and how you only see those stars when you're on Fiji. And he's really in his reminiscing moment. And he really wanted to go out the way he played this whole entire game. He tweeted about it afterwards. He put it on Instagram. He played it his way. Whether you liked that, like Joe Hunter maybe didn't like a lot of the games like Rick Devens had, or whether you enjoyed it or didn't enjoy it, you cannot deny that Rick Devens is unique unto himself. And I got to tip my cap, man. I was excited to have him come back because I loved him on Edge of Extinction, truly. I thought he was so much fun to watch. And he doubled down this season. Him and Christian working together as a comedy tag team is Survivor gold. And I was so happy to see him play. Can't believe he was an alternate on this season and got a late addition to this cast. What a casting. What a performance. And I do hope Rick Devens comes back, Bales.
Oh, I would love it if he would. And I think he would. I mean, he's only played twice now. It's like, he's still got plenty of time. He has plenty of energy in there. I would be shocked if we didn't see Rick Devens return, or at least try to return, I should say. Who knows if they'll cast him again, but I feel like Devens is the type of person that would 100% come back and just run it again, you know? He's He's just been so fun to watch, such a joy. And like you said, to bring so much comedy, like throughout the whole season, too. It wasn't just early on when he had Christian. Yes, that was the bulk of it, but he's consistently remained like the comedic relief. And to be able to do that, I know I said this last week, but like, I don't know where he finds the energy. Because in this kind of situation where everyone else is dying, you know, we're hearing all of these interviews about Rizzo, like near death on the island. And Devins is just like, positive attitude. I think he's a very good example of the power of positivity and the power of perspective, and like, I don't know how you can really manipulate a situation by the way that you think about it or the way that you perceive it. And I think that he just masters that skill so beautifully. It's just fun to watch. He's just a really cool person. My hat is off to Devins. I'm very thankful we got to see him.
I was interested in that Survivor last week showed us Ozzy's flaw in his game was trying to jury manage with Aubry, thinking Aubry was the easy vote, talking about his game. Maybe he gets a jury vote out of Aubry. It's pretty clear that Rick Devins is going to be the vote here. It's a main storyline of this episode. However, we don't see a lot of people, at least in the edit, going up to Devins to try and buddy up to Devins, because Devins has no friends left on this island. It's pretty clear, other than Aubry. But there were some interactions between people that we didn't see normally. Like Joe and Devins have a real connection on the hammock, and Devin opens up to like he feels powerless here. And that happening to Joe when they've been at odds the whole entire time was really unique to me. And I wonder, was that Joe trying to get on Devins' good side before he gets cast off, or was it a simple, like, non-gameplay strategic move? Those are the things that I think about when I watch this, because I want to... I'm the type of guy, Bales, and you know this, but the audience might not. If I'm playing a game of Survivor, everything I do is going to be thought out. Every conversation I have is going to be purposeful. I'm not going to tell you what it is. I'm not going to be like Ozzy and be that blunt with it. But if I'm Joe and Rick's going out, I'm like, Rick hates me. Let me go see if I can just get a good send-off with Rick Devins. Did you think there was any gameplay involved there?
I think there could have been gameplay, but I think the difference here, Tony, is that you would think this out all the way through. And would you really, in any world, think that the person you've been beefing with the whole time, that you've never apologized to, that you've never been kind to, you're going to jury manage him? You, like, Joe, Bubba, in what world do you think you're going to get Rick Devins to vote for you after your behavior towards him?
Every little bit
And I'm not saying
helps.
the behavior was wrong. It does. But like we also saw last week, it also can deter if you're being too on the nose about it. And I think for someone like Joe to go to Devins and potentially even subconsciously try to jury manage him is just, I think that's just silly. I think that's a bad move.
So we move forward after Devins goes home, and we add it on to Sari. And this was a very interesting end of the episode. First off, very happy it was a double elimination. Very happy there wasn't any weird twists involved. This is how the final 7 and final 6 should have worked out, even if the votes were relatively basic. Like, there wasn't any surprises. There weren't any, like, shockers. I understand Survivor's trying to create interesting television, but these final 7 deserve to figure themselves out for this finale here, and I think they did. Yeah. It was interesting to see that everyone wanted to attack Tiffany and thought of her as a Michelle from Co-Wrong. By the way, Michelle is getting the most mentions, the most cameos without her face being shown on television. Like, they've shown other past players, but they have not shown Michelle at all. They just keep bringing her up. Aubry, it's like Charlie and Maria. Aubry cannot let Michelle go and keeps on talking to her. Anyway. Michelle's ears are burning every Wednesday night. But it was interesting to see everyone sort of think Tiff was the biggest strategic threat, the person they needed to get out. So much so that we see something that I despise in a season of Survivor, an individual challenge becoming a team challenge, where all of these players are trying to work together to spell inconceivable, which is such a funny word. If you've ever seen The Princess Bride, for that be the word that they have to spell. And Joe and Jonathan get past the challenge first. They cannot figure it out. Joe gets the word very early. He's like, is it inconceivable? And Jonathan goes, how do you spell inconceivable? Very comical, very funny moment. But even when Rizo and Aubry are there, Aubry is over there helping Joe. And then they can't figure it out. And they're like, you have to look on the other side of the puzzle. Rizzo tells Jonathan, Aubry tells Joe. They're working in tandem. And Cerie's over there trying to cheat best she can. Tiffany is zoned in her own world. Before we get to what happened afterwards and Tiffany winning and Cerie, were you surprised that this group wanted Tiffany out so bad that they decided to throw themselves to the side, to the wolves, and let a Joe or a Jonathan take over?
No, Tony, I wrote in my notes in all caps, what the F are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, why are we doing this?
Yeah.
Like, I understood obviously why they were doing it, but I'm just sitting there going, are you kidding? Like, we are this far into Survivor. You have days left, and we're really gonna team. But I will say in moments like that, because I agree with you, I absolutely hate when they do that. Like, I get the little bits of cheating here and there of looking and whatever, but when you're actively, like you said, it's so frustrating. But the only thing redeeming about it is the person they were all working against freaking won. So I love that sweet justice, that sweet karmic justice. And all I was going to say was I was dying at the inconceivable, because if you know me, you know that Princess Bride is my favorite movie of all time. I just finished Carrie Elwes's book, As You Wish, about the making of Princess Bride. And so for them to be like inconceivable, my first thought was, how many people like me are sitting here and every time they hear that word, they just immediately in their head go, inconceivable. And anyway, it brought me a lot of joy.
I did find it interesting because Joe Hunter, I didn't watch this whole video, so if I'm getting this recap wrong, I do apologize because it is a sensitive subject. But Joe Hunter made a video, I believe he released it Wednesday morning or Tuesday. Because if you remember his season 48, there was another word puzzle that he couldn't spell correctly and he loses it. I think it was unforgettable was the word. And he ended up, and I remember Rob has a podcast making fun of the fact that he misspelled it, but in jovial, not like making fun of him, because it was a funny situation. And this one too, they're playing it up like they don't know how to spell inconceivable. Joe made a video explaining that in his life he has always been dyslexic and he has trouble putting those words together, and I fully understand that. So I'm not here trying to make fun of anybody. However, it was pretty funny to see those two, physical beasts get to the end and be fooled by a word for them to be caught up to. It's a very like that rabbit in the hare, karmic justice type thing. It was a win for the nerds, put it that way.
I also liked too, I felt like a lot of the past immunity challenges we've seen recently have really been just one thing, either holding the ball or balancing on the thing. I liked this relay race type of thing again, because it does give people the opportunity to come from behind. And we saw that. And I was really excited to have that kind of immunity again at this
100%.
point in the season.
100%. We're going to talk about those immunity challenges in a second, but I do want to say goodbye to Cerie, because after Tiffany wins, it becomes who are we going to take out, and the whole entire group goes, Cerie's going to be the dangerous one. It is shown to be headed by Aubry. She's the one that says, this is the one I need to get out. And it is true. We had Jonathan talking to us in a confessional weeks ago saying the notches on his belt that he can present in a final should he get there. Cerie's the biggest head you could have on your wall. Like, that is the prize game hunter moment, is getting Cerie out. Ozzy's another one, but Cerie is special. And whoever sort of orchestrated this or can present to the others that they orchestrated this, I think has a huge chance to win Survivor 50. So Cerie is gone, Bales. And as we're watching this, did you think it was, put it this way, I don't know if you can attribute this to anyone specifically. If I had to give it to someone, if Rizzo presents his case at the end of this and says, I was with Ozzy and Cerie the whole time until I purposefully wasn't, then it'd be a hell of a case to make in front of Final Tribal. But let's say goodbye to Cerie before we start talking about how these people are going to make a debate.
Is it weird to say, like, I just want to be like held in her arms while she sings me a lullaby?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Weird.
Like, I want to be laying in Cerie's lap and have her like stroking my hair and
That's
telling me
weird.
everything's going to be okay.
Pretty sure that's weird.
I'm okay with that. I'll stand down on it, 2 feet down. I want that.
I loved how when she did she's at the torch and bringing it over to Jeff, like her mood and demeanor and everything she says, like, again, I know she's been on TV for quite a while and she is used to being on camera and speaking on camera, but from Jump Street, her ability to sort of explain her feelings and put everything into perspective and paint that picture for you, it is unbelievable. And she showed it again during this in her final walk-off, explaining the road she's taken to get here and how grateful she is for this opportunity. It's a game. She lost. She very well could have won this thing. I understand there might be some regret there, but instead she sits there and just goes, you know what? Thank you so much for everything. And it was beautiful, Bailey. It was truly beautiful.
Yeah. I'm literally crying right now. She's just such a class act.
Yeah.
Like, she's like genuinely in my life, like someone I've looked up to, like for years of my life. Like, I know that sounds weird. It's Survivor. I know my dork is showing right now, but like, I genuinely have like looked up to this woman for so long and have just thought she is the perfect representation of like the type of woman I would like to be in my life. Like you said, handling her emotions, leading with compassion and kindness, being so caring, but also so smart and strategic, but patient and calm and in control. It's just all these things that I respect like in a woman. And I just think she's the coolest person. And I knew she wasn't going to win. Like, I'm not dumb. I know I was rooting for her the whole time. I knew she wasn't going to. I'm sad that she's gone.
Yeah.
I'm sad she didn't get her win, but I'm so thankful that we got the gift of Suri Fields on our television one last time.
I that's a great way to put it, Bales, because it was truly a gift. She is so damn good at this game. And my favorite part of Suri, you can go through all the levels of her, what she does on the island, where she's come from. My favorite part of Suri is showcased so many times this season, especially in this final episode when her and Aubry are on the hammock together. When she gets confronted, when she knows that it's me or Aubry, or she knows Stephanie's lying to me, or she knows someone's coming after her, she doesn't do the modern reality thing of blowing it up, throw the water in your face, we're going to get angry, we're going to yell at each other. She just sits there in complete calmness and goes, so this is what's going to happen, huh? And it's just such a powerful and just beautifully like serene water, and it's just so nice to watch her control her emotions and like get hit with something and bring it back. Well, this is how it's going to happen. She's so goddamn smart and powerful.
So smart.
And it was wonderful. It was wonderful to watch her play this season. We both were rooting for her. I am so happy she made it this far. Of course, we all want her in the final and want her to win, but she very easily, back on day one, it was her versus Jenna. It could have been her voted out first. If you go back to her first season, Exile Island, Bailey, she's up for the first vote out there too. We were so close in another dimension of never having Suri Fields in our life at all. And so
Don't even say that.
Thank God we got this run, that we did, because it has been wonderful every step of the way. I can't wait to hear her thoughts at Final Tribal. I want to hear her speak and give her thoughts on who should win. It was a grand entrance and a grand exit for Suri Fields. And if this is the last time she plays, tip your cap, man. It was perfection. Let's break it down, though, because bouncing off of Suri, I do want to talk about some interesting statistics about this Survivor 50 finale. Because as fans of this show know, I didn't even intro the show. We just started off crying about Suri. This is Survivor Squared. My name is Tony Squares. That's Bailey Buff. 19 minutes in might be the latest intro we've ever had. But we treat Survivor like it's a sport. And in Survivor 50, I went to the old notebook here and I started writing down, doing some research because I wanted to know some numbers. I wanted to know some statistics. Sports are built on statistics. Michael Jordan won 6 championships. LeBron James has scored the most points. I want to know where these players stand in the all-time rankings at the end of this huge season in the hands of the fans, as I put quotation marks up. And Suri, even if you take away the Australia days, which I do, she has played the most days in Survivor history with this run. And that makes me so happy. She deserves to be there. Yeah. And Bales, we don't need to go through it now, but I think she has permanently made her case to be on the Survivor Mount Rushmore, even though she's probably the only one up there that hasn't won Survivor.
She's also the only one up there that's like never won an immunity challenge, like has she's never been someone that is like a threat physically, which is so hard to be considered an icon of Survivor when you're not athletic and you're not that coordinated and like you're not that competitive when it comes to those types of things. Obviously, she's competitive, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Hands down. I mean, when I think of my like top 4 of all time, I'm going to get slack for this, but there's the 4 that pop into my head immediately right off the bat are Sandra, Suri, Rob, and either Tony or Parvati, honestly.
Yeah.
That's kind of up there for me, if not both of them.
Yeah.
But I think Suri sits up there with just as deserving as
100%.
any other person that has won the game, that has played the game. She has proven herself. She's the queen. She's the queen of Survivor. I know Sandra is too, but we can have 2 queens. It's fine.
100%. That's the thing. Like, you named the 5 names that are probably in that rotation of Mount Rushmores. I probably won't hear a case for anyone else. And Suri literally only makes that list because of this final season 50. Like, she did it again on season 50, and it's such an accomplishment. And it's tough to put her up there with no championship rings, but God damn it, I think she deserves it, and I'd make the case for it. However,
Me too.
these 5 players that have made the season 50 finale, Bailey. We have Tiffany, we have Aubry, we have Joe, Jonathan, and Rizo. 4 players from the so-called new era, 1 player from the old era, even though she played in the 30s. And a lot of interesting statistics here. Want to practice puzzles before going on Survivor? Don't worry, Survivor Squared has got you. Happy to say we are partnering with Puzzling Design, who creates custom puzzles inspired by competition reality shows, including Survivor. They make replicas, remix, fully original puzzle designs, and their work combines over a decade of engineering expertise with 3D printing, woodworking, and vinyl graphics to turn your specific vision into a memorable competitive experience. And here at Survivor Squared, we are giving away our very own Survivor Squared themed slide puzzle. The way you can enter is do 2 things. Number 1, comment on the episode you are watching right now, whether it's on Spotify or YouTube, wherever you are, leave a comment and try to write something more than just hello. Make it engaging, have a conversation. And number 2, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Even if you're listening to this podcast on an audio-only platform, subscribe to the YouTube channel. That's how I'm going to pick who the winner is. And we will be drawing the winner on our Season 50 finale podcast. That's when we will break down who wins this show, who wins this Survivor slide puzzle, and send it directly to you. But excited to do our first giveaway on the Survivor Squared podcast. Leave us a comment, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and you could be getting your very own slide puzzle. But now, back to the show. I want to start with the individual immunities because something weird happened during this show. And we've talked a lot on this season, Bales, where we're starting to get a feel for the edit of Survivor. And we're starting to see little nuggets from the edit purposefully tell us a story of the future. And we may be wrong, but we've been pretty good so far predicting some things on here. Bales, for instance, Ozzy going home with an idol in his pocket, the Genevieve Aubry situation, like they are purposefully feeding us little breadcrumbs so they can tell a story over a whole season. When Joe Hunter won this immunity challenge with the immunity blocks, the second time he's won that challenge, moving as slow as molasses, it's the perfect challenge that makes me love Joe Hunter because no one else is going to do that. Everyone else is going to go too fast. This man has a drive and a determination. When he wins that, he goes up and gets the necklace placed on his chest. And Jeff Probst says, Joe, this is the 2nd individual immunity you've won this season, and the 3rd time you've worn this necklace, because him and Tiff won an individual immunity together. The episode we knocked out Coach and Chrissy, everyone was in pairs, and Tiffany and Joe won that together. They're not counting that as an individual immunity victory. 2 things I want to point out from that statement. The first one being, when it comes to legacy, we heard all season that Ozzy is chasing Boston Rob for individual immunities. Boston Rob has 9 all-time. Ozzy left Survivor 50 with 8. Joe Hunter, with that 2nd win, I put in quotation marks, has 6. 4 on season 48, 2 this season. That ties him for 3rd all-time with Spencer Bledsoe and the other Joe Anglem. 3rd all-time with 6, even though you put the asterisk next to it, He got a 7th with that paired challenge. I think the second point I want to bring up with the way Jeff set this out, I think Joe wins a few more. And I think they are saying this early. I mean, I believe every time someone wins an immunity, Jeff goes through the role of things like this is her first win. This is her second win, because they might not have it in the edit, but Jeff just says it in case they need it. Like, Jeff knows what he's doing. They're not going to let any type of statistic not get said on camera. I think the way Jeff said this is his second win and his third necklace. If he gets his third win and his fourth necklace, if he gets his fourth win and his fifth necklace, wins his way into the final, but for whatever reason they don't want him to tie the individual accolade, or maybe tie Boston Rob with four wins in this season, 4 wins last season, and that 9th necklace in a paired challenge. Just the way they said this, Bailey, was so intentional that it perked the hairs on the back of my neck coming up. Sorry I'm going on long, but there's a second part to this.
No, I love it, because I did not think about this, catch this, look into this at all. So this is a very interesting conspiracy you have. I don't disagree at all either, too. I think it's very interesting they didn't count the joint one, since that was an immunity, but I digress.
Because they also didn't count it for the other part of that pair in Tiffany, who, again, against all odds, won an immunity challenge this time, her second individual immunity victory, the 3rd time she's had a necklace this season. Technically the 4th time, but we had to take a referee review to take away one of them. But she's won 2 individual immunities correctly and a 3rd necklace with a pair. We know from Savannah on season 49, from Rachel on season 47, the most individual immunities won by a woman in a single season is 4. Tiffany has 2.
All time is 6.
Tiffany has 2 asterisk 3rd necklace. She could also go on an individual immunity run and potentially tie some of the greats, except that paired necklace will be holding her back from hitting the actual all-time mark. And I only bring this up to say, in the world of Survivor, where we've complained that they just kill themselves trying to say the words for the first time in Survivor history, when in season 1, Kelly Wigglesworth won 4 individual immunities and we're still waiting for someone to beat it, you have someone on season 50 potentially chasing that number. An easy way to tie storylines together from season 1. And you're not going to do it because it was a paired challenge, Bailey. It blows my mind.
Yeah, that's weird.
I don't understand it. I'm sorry to go on a rant, but this is the stupid shit I think about when I'm watching this show. I don't understand.
No, and I love that you catch this stupid shit, because I don't. And it's like, I want to hear things like this, because that just seems like a disservice, like to everyone involved, the show, the people, the players. Like, I just don't understand. I get it. It was 2 people, but it wasn't a team.
Yeah.
It was 2. And like, you as the producers decided that was the challenge.
Yeah.
So then why are you deciding to take that away from a statistic? That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And correct me if I'm wrong. The female wins of all time, is that 6?
I don't
Do you
know.
remember
I didn't
number?
look that up.
4 in a current season.
I
think
only
it's
saw
6.
Joe Anglim and Spencer Bledsoe with 6 all time. It didn't have anybody else listed. But I know 6
didn't
is
have any
the
of the
number.
women.
I know 6 is the number for 3rd place. No one has hit 7. Ozzy at 8, but Boston Rob at 9. Again, Joe has hit 7. If you want to put an asterisk next to it, Joe Hunter has hit 7 and potentially the chance to do more. Bailey, the statistics aren't done because the individual immunities,
Give me more.
That's been handled. But I do find this really interesting that we are hitting this final 5. Tiffany on her season, I believe she placed 7th or 8th, so this is the furthest she's gone. However, Jonathan and Rizo both placed 4th in their seasons. They were kicked out at fire making. Aubry, as we know, and she keeps telling us, she's gone as far as 2nd place in Co-Wrong. And Joe, in his only season, finished 3rd place, got 1 vote at Final Tribal. That means, outside of Tiffany, Joe, Jonathan, and Rizo have a chance to play 2 seasons and never be voted out. The only other person to do that is Michelle Fitzgerald. This is my favorite one. Aubry and Joe have a chance to join Amanda Kimmel and Russell Hantz as the only players to reach 2 final tribals and not win. because Amanda Kimmel and Russell Hantz both did that. Joe, when he reached season 48 final, he got 1 vote. If he makes the final 3 and does not get a vote, he will be the only person in Survivor history to reach the final twice and get less than 2 votes. He will have the least votes in the history of final tribal councils when making 2 of them. And also, Aubry, if she does make the final, she will land 6th all-time in days played in Survivor, passing Colby and Coach, who were both on this season. It's quite the list, Bales. Again, a couple of people, Jonathan and Rizo, never been voted out. Joe's never been voted out. Just by numbers alone, either Joe, Jonathan, or Rizo, 2 of those players are going to tie Michelle Fitzgerald in 2 games played, never being voted out. So yeah, it's a couple of history-making moments here. I hope Survivor does tap into this live finale, which me and you may or may not be attending. I'm excited to see how it all plays out. But Bales, out of these statistics and out of these, names of these all-time greats, the Sandras, the Tonys, the people, the Boston Robs who have made Final Tribal a bunch of times, what do you think surprises you the most here? I think it's if Aubry and Joe make it to final and don't win, to have that, to add to that list of 2 people who've made the final and never won, that'd be a tough one to swallow.
No, I would agree with that. I think all of these are cool. And I think it's very interesting, too, that all of these last 5 remaining players, sans Tiff, I guess, have all been there in the final episode, and they're there again. That says something about their gameplay. That says something about the way that they're playing this game if they continuously are lasting till the very end. I think that statistic is what interested me the most, actually, is seeing that 4 of these 5 people have sat there. They've been on the final episode. So it's like, to get that far again is really impressive.
Yeah.
Even losing both times, it's still so impressive just to get there twice.
This is Aubrey's Aubrey's 3rd final episode in 4 seasons. She's made the final 5 3 times in 4 seasons. That's crazy.
She's gonna take it. If she gets there, now that's who I'm all on board with.
Well,
if she gets there.
Let's break it down. I want to end this show, because we normally talk about who's going to get eliminated next, who's got a chance to win this thing. We normally try to make some type of predictions. Today, as we enter the finale, the final week of Survivor 50, it's been a wild ride to get here, Bales. I do want to make the case for every player. I want to be the consultants here. I want to very quickly go through it one by one and be like, hey, if we're the devils on your shoulder, this is how you're going to present your gameplay to the masses here. And let's start out with Aubry, Bales. If you were Aubry, what would you say this is the statement she needs to make?
I'd say the biggest statement from Aubry could be that she's been playing the middle the whole way. She has managed to have relationships with people from different facets. And I think she has been able, she kind of ran that Cirie vote a little bit, I think could be argued. I don't think she was the mastermind behind it, but I think she could argue that getting Cirie out. I don't know. I think, too, just like a big thing for me hearing is that she's played 3 times and made it to the end 3 times. That's impressive to me. I understand that is not just exclusive to this season, and I understand that certain jury members will have different perspectives on that it should just be from this season's gameplay. But I do think on a season 50 of all returning players, there is something to say about the fact that she's been there 3 times and made it that many times almost. So, and she's really been herself the whole time. And I think that's something you also could argue, that she's not everyone's cup of tea and she's okay with that. And I think that to be able to do that in a situation like this is very impressive and shows a lot of emotional intelligence.
I agree with that 100%. The only thing I'd add into it, you touched on this a little bit, I would play into the history of the game. There have been talks when Coach got voted out. He started talking in his exit interviews how there was a joke on the island that 26 will not win 50, meaning the people who played in seasons where there was only 26 days, they don't deserve to win season 50. This victory should go to a person who played 39 days before, which I think is a BS, new era, old era, whatever. But there's a lot of old era players on that dais, on that jury, the Stephanie, the Chrissy, the Ozzy of the world. And if I'm Aubry, I'd play up to those old votes. Because you got to take those away from some of these players in this final five here. I would play up to those old players, and because I think I got Christian, I think I got Emily, I think I got Devins on my side. I need to garner the other votes, and I would play up the fact that we shouldn't let season 50 go to someone non-historic. I need this victory more than anyone. So that's what I'm playing if I'm Aubry. If I'm Rizo, the newest player in this season, someone who has, again, held an idol for multiple weeks in a row now since he's gotten it. He's going to play it at Final Five. Rizzo's making the Final Four, okay? Rizzo is joining Michelle Fitzgerald as one of the only players to never, the only player to never be voted out in 2 straight seasons, to never be voted out in Survivor across multiple seasons. Rizzo is joining that list, that solo list of Michelle Fitzgerald. So if I'm Rizzo, and I'm at Final Tribal, even though these people might not respect my game, even though these people might think I'm a goat, I am wholeheartedly doing 2 things. One, playing up the fact that it was I who decided to switch on Ozzy. It was I who decided to switch on Sari. I was in bed with them, but I knew I couldn't sit next to them. I let you guys think that I was the deer in the headlights here. Because the second part of my big finale tour de force here is I'm lying my face off over what happened in season 49. You guys know Savannah won. You guys know I placed 4th in fire making. You don't know how it happened. I kicked ass in season 49 and played so much from the front that it cost me in the end. And so coming here on season 50 where no one knew who I was, but they just knew I was a threat, I had to take a step back. I had to lower my threat level. I had to alligabler the F out of this because every one of you, Coach, you wrote my name in Ponderosa and slipped it in Colby's bag. You guys wanted, I was the next Russell, and I had to play against my type in order to survive here, and I'm still here with all you legends sitting up there. I would Riz God the F out of this final tribal and play up this huge persona and fake everything that happened in 49. Just lie my face off because they don't know, and convince them that I had to alter my game so much to get here. And I deserve the victory because the new era, we're taking this forward to 51 to 100, and I'm the face of that. Like, I would Riz God the F out of this final tribal, Bales.
He, while, yes, you could argue that he hasn't done a lot this season per se, I think when you really get into the details of it, his hand was in a lot of things. Like you said, the Aussie vote. He bonded, he got aligned with 2 of the most iconic Survivor people ever. They don't know him. Mm-hmm. He could argue, the enemy you don't know is worse than the enemy you do know. All of you just trusted me that I wasn't a threat this whole time. Well, here's the info. And then go into like what you said. I think there's also something to be said of I'm the youngest one on the island, and I was the one calming Coach down. I was the one being sent to bring the common sense to these other people. Like, you all trusted me. You all didn't feel threatened by me. And that was manipulated. That was a choice, and if he can really argue that, I think he could stand a chance. Yeah. I think it would depend if the jury was going to take it for face value or if they already have their minds made up and they're not going to really listen to anything.
Yeah. I hear you.
Rizzo's impressive, man. I got a little mad at him, obviously, yesterday and last week.
But
I'm a little pissed at you, buddy.
He's playing his game. I think Tiffany's pretty easy.
Respect where respect.
I think Tiffany's case was laid out for us in this most recent episode. The fact that she was kind of, playing the middle for as long as she could. And I think if I'm her final tribal consultant, I'm sitting there going, play up this last episode. Everyone tried to gang up against you because you are friends with everyone on there. No one wants to sit next to you, and yet still I am here. It is very much of pay attention to the last 5 days, not the whole 26 days. But I think Tiffany has a real shot to just say, they're all against me. And if I made this to the final, they couldn't take me down. I Mike Holloway'd the F out of this final here, and I'm still here. Right, Bales?
Oh, yeah, I was going to make that same, that one sentence that I think needs to matter is I knew that I was the target. I knew I was on the out. So I took this into my own hands and I won. And then I won again. And then I won a third time when you guys were all working with each other, if she does. I think that's exactly what she plays up is that, You have no one else to thank but me. I did this for me. I won. I got myself immunity. Like, I did it. And you really can't discredit that. And I think there is something to be said for that. And yeah, I mean, she's a beast. I love Tiff. I don't think she'll get to the final tribal, in all honesty. I would love it if she was there. But I think they're still just going to, if anything, they'll send her to fire because they don't want her to be at tribal if they can't eliminate her. So we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm interested to see if fire making is what they do at the finish. I hope it is. I like fire making.
Yeah.
It goes back to day one of Survivor and the essence of Survivor. You know, you have to make fire. Fire is life. Like, they've been playing that theme since season one. I like fire making. I'd like to see it at the finish here.
I didn't like that Jeff said, will there be a fire making or maybe there'll be fire? He phrased something like that. And I immediately was like, what do you mean, Jeff? What are you talking about? Don't taunt me with that. There better be.
Yeah. The case for Jonathan, I feel like I've been making on this show. I've been alone in making it on this show. I think he has done a great job of at least telling the camera via confessional what he should do during Final Tribal. Like, explain all the people on that seat who he put you there. And listen, if I'm Jonathan and I'm at Final Tribal, I need to convince, not Coach, not Chrissy, not Stephanie, not potentially Joe, like, don't even bother trying to get those names. It's easy to tell Coach and Chrissy, I was the only one sitting here that didn't write your name down. Like, they're already on your side. You need to convince maybe two of the D, Emily, Christian, Devin's group that you played this game strategically. And the way you do that, in my opinion, if I was his consultant, is convince them that you're the reason they're sitting there. It's an aggressive approach, but listen, D, you were an absolute threat. I turned on you, and here's how I did it. Emily, I'm the reason you went home during that vote. You said we're going to play the idol for Devins. I saw through that, and I'm the reason you're sitting there. You guys may not like this. I needed to get you out because of how big of strategic threats you are. I needed to be king here, so I had to take out the biggest threats. If I'm Jonathan, don't worry about the people that are already on your side. Play to the people that aren't, and that's how I would advise him to go about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's exactly what he has to do. And I think the real question is, can he?
Yeah.
Because I love Jonathan. He's not a poet. He's not a wordsmith, not that we've ever seen him be. So, and I'm not saying he's not intelligent. Like, that was not a dig. I'm just saying there are certain people that are more... that have been in speech debate class. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm trying to say. There's just certain people that have the gift of gab. And I worry that Jonathan's downfall, if he makes it to tribal, is his lack of ability in relaying that information. Because I do agree with you. The resume's there. It's really going to come down to if he can pitch it and sell it in the way that basically you just did. He needs you as a consultant.
This is also why I really want Rizo I wanted Rizo to make season 49 Final Tribal. I want Rizo to make this Final Tribal because I want to hear Rizo at a Final Tribal. I think that kid is so good at talking. I want to hear him make the case. But Bailey, some consultant jobs are easy. Some consultant jobs, you get paid millions of dollars and you tell them to change the color from green to blue to cyan, and it's like, great, done. Call that a day. See you later. Some consultant jobs are a little bit more difficult. And if we had to consult a guy I like a lot, but the way they portrayed the edit of Joe Hunter in season 50 has not been one of a victor. Bailey, if you were Joe Hunter's consultant, what are you telling him to say to Final Tribal to try and get some votes thrown his way?
I mean, I guess for Joe, it would be important to bring up the honor and integrity stuff again, to say I've played by my word. I've played by the man that I've said I would be, just to get Coach and Chrissy and them on his side. Because if he and Jonathan are both there, they are going to have to compete for those votes.
But he didn't. Joe, he wrote down Coach and Chrissy's name. Strike one. You're out. I don't think you play honor and integrity at all. Because listen, Bailey, if you play honor and integrity, you lose Emily, you lose D, you lose Rick, you lose Christian. Like, those votes are gone.
I just don't know. I don't think he has those votes anyway. So in my brain, I'm like, okay, just to make sure he gets at least one vote, I feel like he's got to try to convince his past alliance to go. Because I love Joe. You know that I was the biggest fan of him 2 seasons ago. Like, I've thought nothing but in the highest regards for Joe. I think he's a wonderful person. I think he's interesting. I think he's a cool dude. He doesn't have a resume.
Yeah.
He won an immunity, but he's flipped. He's had attitude. He's not had foresight. He hasn't won as much as he probably could have. Maybe he will. I guess he has won the 2.5, 2 and 3, but still, I just mean, I don't know what the case would be for Joe, is honestly what I would say. All I could think of is that try to at least get with your old crew back on your side so you get a couple votes. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you have a master plan? Tell me.
It's really tough because even if he wins the next 2 immunities and he ties Boston Rob's all-time record and he beats Ozzy, that might get Ozzy's vote, but I don't think many of that jury is going to be really content with 9 immunity wins in 2 seasons. Like, I don't think they really care about that. I would, but I don't think they do. I also would think taking away other people's gameplay would be the best idea for Joe, except it's so easy to then turn around and take away Joe's gameplay. Like if Joe comes after a Tiff or an Aubry or a Jonathan and says, well, actually they were doing this and it was wrong, I think they come right back at Joe and Joe sits back there. I also think playing up the whole I was fooled on season 48 by Kyle and Camilla, and so therefore I couldn't be fooled here. That's why I was so malleable. That's why I was so in the middle. That's why I was so allowed myself to step off of my, high horse a little bit, because I got fooled by Kyle and Camilla on national television. I wasn't going to get fooled again. Maybe that's the way I would go, but I still don't see that as a victory speech, Bales. I don't see that as someone saying, okay, you were just a pushover this entire season and that was your goal. You didn't drive anything. So unless he makes a huge move at the end here, which again, we're getting to a point where we can't, he sticks himself in fire in order to eliminate a Tiffany or someone of importance. Like, maybe that's Joe's ticket at the end here, but I truly don't know how I would advise him in order to stick his face out there and say, I'm the winner of season 50. I don't know what way I would go. I do think the malleability might be his best bet, but it's not a winning bet.
Yeah, that's the only way I can really look at it. I mean, to try to spin it. This is why I would never work well in PR. Trying to spin a story. I'm just like, no, but these are the facts.
Yeah.
This is what happened.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see if he can get creative with that. Or, yeah, like you said, if he puts himself in fire, that's always a risky move for someone that has a very little resume. You can at least try to throw that on there. But I would just love if somehow Joe gets through to Devins and Devins actually ends up voting for Joe in the end. What a twist that would be. What an M. Night Shyamalan twist would that be?
Mm-hmm. By the way, the only person who did not vote for Suri was Tiffany. Tiffany did not vote Suri out, and that might garner her a vote should she get to final tribal, because Suri's another name that you need to convince to vote your side, and I'm interested to see where Suri's vote go, but we will answer all of these questions. We will get the answer to all of these questions just a week away. Some schedule updates for Survivor Squared. We will be here on Monday with a very special guest, someone who has made a final tribal before. I'm very excited to talk to her, very excited to dive into her knowledge of the game and how she sort of sees Survivor Season 50 after a few years away from Survivor, and she's back in it now and really diving into all this. I'm excited to see her take on what's going on here and who she thinks is going to pull it out in the end. And then Bailey and I have a very busy week living in Los Angeles with Survivor finale coming to us. A lot of things we're going to be doing. Stay tuned to our social pages to catch up and recap all that stuff. But I'm telling you right now, as soon as we wake up on Thursday, wherever we are in Los Angeles, in the greater city, the greater state of California, me and Bailey will be turning on the microphones and the cameras to record a podcast for the Survivor finale, breaking it all down. Don't know how our voices will sound that day. Don't know how bloodshot our eyes shall be. Bailey and I might not have any makeup on between the two of us. However, we will be there.
That's what I was doing today. I put no makeup on just to prepare everyone.
We will be there, and we will record as early as possible and get all of our thoughts on paper, not on paper, on recording, whatever it is. We're excited for it. You should be excited for it. And Bailey, it's been quite the run, and we have one more to go. How it's sad. It's somber.
It's sad. I literally am like, I don't know what I'm going to do on Wednesdays anymore. I have that day requested off of work because of Survivor. So I'm like, all right, I guess I'll just sit by myself at home on Wednesdays now.
But until then, we shall see you next week.